Clergy Roundtable. I'm so delighted that you're here. I'm sure you can see from what I am wearing that I am in my New York Knicks fan mode. And so there is some degree of sadness that is blanketing my spirit over the loss to San Antonio last night. I really thought that this game 3 was going to be a winner for the Knicks, but as Pastor Norman Scott has reminded me, we're still up 2-1. And the next game is tomorrow night, and I am expecting redemption on tomorrow night. Listen, our panelists are anxious to say hello to you, and so I am going to yield to each of them and afford them the opportunity to say hello. Let's begin with the fresh voice and face of Westchester.
Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning. Pastor Norman Scott, New Hope Institutional Baptist Church, Tarrytown, New York. Happy to be here this morning with the panel. And just for the record, you can't win a game when there are 8 players against 5.
Okay, all righty. Let's go out to Iowa.
Good morning. I greet you all in divine love. I just wanted to be like Willie,
Bishop
like
Willie.
Willie today.
Oh, okay.
I'm from Waterloo, and I'm the Bishop of Koinonia Ministries.
Amen.
No. 791-732-7452. From there, the Sunny Hills of Sunny Hills of North Carolina. Good morning, Brother President.
Good morning, all. I'm Reverend Ronald Grant, retired from New York, and just enjoying the sights, weather, and the lawn in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. While my TV includes outside of North Carolina, so I was able to view the events of Madison Square Garden with a degree also of sadness, but anticipatory expectancy. Good to be here.
Thank you, Brother President. From there, the east end of Long Island. Good morning, Overseer.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Bishop. I am Overseer Diane Seaman, pastor of Good Samaritan Ministries in Port Jefferson and Center Reach, and I am so delighted and excited about so many things today. I didn't see the game. I had to laugh because somebody actually, one of the meetings I was in, they had to switch the time of the meeting late afternoon because they forgot the game was on. So I had a good laugh about that one, but it's okay.
Great. Thank you, Overseer. My neighbor and friend on Great Neck Road right here in Amityville. Good morning, Bishop.
God bless everybody, and don't worry, it's going to be all right tomorrow night. I am Bishop Walter Willie, pastor, the founder of the Prayer Tabernacle Church of God in Christ right here in Amityville, New York.
Thank you, sir. And we're moving now to the Washington, D.C. area. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Bishop. Good morning, team.
Good morning.
I don't care. There's a good check coming through here. I don't care. I'm Dr. Stephanie Stratford. I'm honored to be the lead servant of Ecclesia International, and we are headquartered in Gambrills, Maryland.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And we'll excuse your apathy regarding the NBA Finals. And rounding out the round table, let's go to Buffalo. God bless you.
Dr. Stratford, it is said somewhere, rejoice with those who rejoice.
Yeah, thank
you. I echo the sentiments of Pastor Scott. There was too many players on the other team on the field there. So I am Bishop Jeffrey Bowens, pastor of the Love Alive Fellowship. Honored to be here with my colleagues and looking forward to the discussion.
So happy to have you, Bishop. And I do believe that our final panelist has joined us. And currently, as of today, I am happy and delighted to say that he is my neighbor here on Long Island from Copiague, pastoring the oldest African American congregation here on Long Island. Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone. I love the hat, Bishop. I love the hat. Allow me to share for a few months. I do have a 9:30 appointment. I am no longer the pastor of Bethel Church in Copiague. So
okay.
I will be your neighbor for one more day, Bishop. You and Bishop Willie. One more day. It's time to go.
Oh my.
I'm thankful because God has blessed my life in so many ways and blessed this congregation. I was assigned here January 20th, 2012. I was assigned on a Friday, had to show up on Monday. So in our tradition, when you got to go, you got to go. In our ordination, we promise to follow the directions of our bishops. So when you got to go, you got to go. I'm not being moved by my bishop. This is my request. Briefly, my brother who lives in Virginia has had some illnesses and went through a bout of cancer 6 months ago. He's the oldest in my family. I'm the youngest. We're the only two in this country, the other four in Bermuda. So I've been telling my congregation for 2 years, I'm leaving. You can tell them when. But God has blessed my life in major ways. I shared a little bit with the bishop. Oh, Bishop, my phone died. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I was offered a church in Richmond, Virginia, the #1 church in the whole state. Well, my wife's job has a school in Richmond. They hired her over the phone. But that bishop died. That means that's off the table. The new bishop comes in and says, okay, well, I can't promise you. So he calls him back a week and a half ago, says, I got something better for you. I like better. He said, I'm sending you to Virginia Beach, on Mount Zion. My wife's job is a school in Virginia Beach.
Oh, wow.
I'm watching God open these doors, So she says to me, listen, they got a part-time position open. Fine, apply for it. By the time she hung up from me and applied for the position, it became a full-time position.
Wow.
They called her back 10 minutes later and said, Ms. Hayward, we're sorry, that position is gone. But will you be interested in a assistant director position? Yep. She had her first interview on last Wednesday. The last interview is today. They already told her, listen, you've been with this company for a long time. You said the questions we're not going to ask you because you know our system. At 1 o'clock today, my wife has her final interview in Virginia Beach. Now, when I met her, I was under my father at a Mount Zion AME church in Bermuda, 300 yards from the beach. The church I'm assigned to is a Mount Zion, Virginia Beach. I've watched God just work this thing out. Then he calls me back and says, hey, I made a mistake. Oh, Lord, here we go. What is it, Bishop? Man, I got a little small church. The pastor just walked away. Can you just take care of it for a while? No problem. Then he says to me, listen, what do you make in New York? I told him, he said, we don't pay that kind of money here. He said, but I'll tell you what, I'll call you right back. The man calls me back with the same numbers I got here in New York. I mean, that's not God.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for it. We didn't plan it. So I watched the God work. Now, my brother right now is 6.5 hours from me. I'm going to be 45 minutes from my brother. All I can do is say, Lord, I thank you.
Yeah.
So God is blessed in marvelous ways. So I'm running. I got banks to deal with. I got lawyers to deal with. I got my district elder to deal with today. So I'm running.
Sure.
So the next time you hear from me, you'll hear from the new pastor of Mount Zion AME Church in Virginia Beach, Virginia. It's been a great journey, and I'm thankful.
Pastor, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to be with us. We're not going to hold you. We know you have to dash out the door at 9:30. But this is a perfect segue into what we want to talk about today, which is late career late life career moves. And I think you embody that to a great degree. And you have created the platform for us to have this discussion for, and for the rest of us to weigh in. Just prior to you coming online, and I'm not throwing her under the bus because it is a very common attitude. I call it the Baptist bias toward Methodism. Our attitude is, if we labor long and build up a church and ministry, we want to enjoy the fruit of that labor permanently and as long as possible. And so we have kind of looked at Methodism with an eye ajar because of the ability of the bishop to relocate you at any time. And one of the things that I shared, and I want you to expand upon for just a moment, and Bishop Willie actually shared your perspective and your explanation of what is going on with you. I mentioned the fact that my father-in-law explained to me, who was an AME bishop, the son of an AME bishop, and the father of an AME bishop, that in the Methodist mentality is that the local pastor exists for the benefit not of the local congregation, but of the national church. And as a bishop, that bishop has the obligation to match the needs of a congregation with the talent that he has in his stable. So it is not punitive. It is not selfish. It is not unfair. It is what you sign up to do at the outset of your pastoral career. You go in knowing that your appointment is only 1 year at a time, and that when there are circumstances and situations that warrant your talents, the bishop is obliged to place you what is in the best benefit of the national church. And so I want you to kind of speak on that. And then, of course, Bishop Willie shared with us that in some instances, it's not even the bishop moving the individual, it's the individual seeking a relocation because of their circumstances. And certainly that seemingly is what you have shared with us today. So I wanted you to help us remove our Baptist bias and give us a fuller and healthier understanding of what it is that goes on in Methodism.
Thank you, sir. I was given an opportunity to pastor my first church without my full credentials. There's 7 members. I stayed there for 7 years, left them 68. So they've grown. So the bishop comes to me and says, I need your skills somewhere else. Okay. The next church I get there, strong congregation, but I left them with almost 200 people. Money in the bank and doing very well. So I'm thankful because I've watched God just work this thing out for me. So in coming here, I didn't want to come at first. Matter of fact, I turned this church down because one place I did not want to live is New York. But in coming here, I found a church that was grieving, hurt, and it was divided. So the bishop says to me, that's why I'm sending you. Allow the Lord to use you to bring this congregation back together. My predecessor was here 2.5 years, and his leaving, the folk felt that, he didn't want us. Okay. So we switched a lot of things. The focus now becomes prayer and Bible study to help heal this congregation. I walked in this door in indebtedness, no money, a building that some construction was done wrong, postures in just horrible condition. All right, Lord, I'm here. I knew you got here before I did. I've watched God in 14 years. Redo my sanctuary, redo my downstairs, bathrooms, my office, boardroom, work at the parsonage. I'm leaving this church with no debt. $50,000 in the bank. Leaving this church with a very strong core of young people between the age of 25 and 45. Very strong core. So the new pastor will come in, and young guy, 37 years old. He's from Queens, but is pastoring right now in Boston. Here's the benefit of the itinerancy and moving around. The reason why I can't be Baptist because I cannot be controlled by a board of deacons. No.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
If two deacons don't like me and they got influence, they may influence 7 more. I'm out the door. A friend of mine, church was growing like crazy, and one deacon said to him, "Don't come here preaching about no tithing, because he don't give." That brother can't talk about tithing, and the people got it. The deacons didn't get it, but the people got it. You know, the deacons voted him out. I can't live like that. When I get my assignment says pastor in charge. That makes me the CEO with God's grace. One thing I've learned about the Baptist tradition is sometimes you stay too long. And sometimes you stay because you can't go nowhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you stay and then off at other places, then you leave. It's the same thing with us. I requested, the bishop didn't move me, I requested this move because of my brother. At 66 years old, I'm going to work for 4 more years, I'm out. Bishop and I talked about this 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Doc, I'm winding down, man. He said, man, listen, man, I'm not far behind you. And he's doing the same thing. But it's his, and I'm thankful, Bishop, because Bishop really taught me, take care of your health. That's important. So in our tradition, my assignment is 1 year at a time.
Yeah. So
in going to Virginia, the bishop already knows, hey man, I'm not staying until I'm 75. I can, but I'm not doing that. Because I want to enjoy my brother and I want to enjoy my own time as I get older, my wife and I. So in going to this move, and the bishop has looked at what we've done here at Bethel and kind of pairs with the church that needs these gifts. It's not a Bethel. It's Mount Zion is as strong as a Bethel. The smaller church, that's going to need the work. Then I find out they have to build a new building. Perfect time. So we're going to go down there, find out what's going on, knock the sanctuary down and build a new one. And
wow.
Then Feliz Navidad, I'm out. That's the plan.
So, Bishop, very, very quickly, because I don't want to get you in trouble with your district superintendent and bishop. Explain, and because you said you turned down Bethel Copay initially. So I want people to be clear because the authority is in the Episcopal appointment. So when you say turn down, help us to understand the context of that, because it sounds as though that there are options that would countermand the appointment of the bishop.
We have what's called a pastor's bill of rights. If you're going to move me, it has to be equal or better. Now, I've been offered larger churches in the past 14 years. One church in Connecticut, and bigger church, more members. They raise $1 million a year. But I said to the bishop, do they get more snow than Long Island? Yep. Is it colder than Long Island? Yep. Take me off the list. I'm not going further in the cold. No, I'm not doing that. No. And they wanted to disrupt my wife's career in Pennsylvania as well. She's been on her job for 25 years. So I come here, she had been on her job over 6 years. I'm like, no, you ain't moving. What happens if I come to New York and then 3 years later, the bishop moved me? Now you stuck. You got to find another job. So here's the blessing of her staying. Paid off our house, renovated our house, and the credibility on her job. So when the new director says to her, I don't have to ask you no questions. You've been here long enough. That's the blessing. Now, in order for me to say to the bishop, I'm not coming, because one thing I didn't want to do is live in New York. But New York has been a tremendous blessing in my life. I've grown tremendously since I've been here. And then the community involvement that we've been able to enjoy has been phenomenal. But the bishop says, you can't keep telling me down. You keep telling me down, your name comes off the list altogether.
Wow.
So if you want to move later on now, you turn me down. I was offered the second church to go back to Philadelphia. Been there, done that. Nope. I don't want to go back to Philly. So this is a new challenge for me because it allows me to allow God to use me to bless this congregation. And this congregation, they're not broke, either one. They got money in the bank, but it has to be a shift in their worship. It has to be a shift in moving away from the stringency of tradition. Because sometimes tradition can kill your church.
Yes.
We have a different mindset of young people now that want to know why are we going through these rituals? Why are we doing it this way Sunday after Sunday after Sunday after Sunday? But what's in it for me? How can I grow? How do you keep seeing the Lord in the same thing you do every Sunday? So our young people are looking for something different because they want to grow. Our young people want to move in the Lord. Our young people want to understand, why do we pay these assessments? Why do we have this obligation? So there's a shift now taking place in the Amy Church. It's happening here at Bethel. And I talked to the new man for an hour. He said, man, I watched your service already. I'm not changing nothing because it's drawing younger people. So you tell the bishop no, you better be right. Because if you keep saying no, he might say, well, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you you're going.
Right.
So my coming to New York, I wasn't asked. I said, Hayward. He said, Hayward, it was a Friday afternoon. He said, Hayward, I expect you in New York on Sunday morning. And my response was, you ain't sending me to New York. He said, you'll be in New York on Sunday because your predecessor is sitting next to you. And he knows he's going to follow you. You don't go to New York, you ain't got nothing.
Wow.
That's the way it is. But I'm going to tell you, this church has been a blessing in my life. I've watched God transform this church. I've watched how God has made an impact in my life, in this community. And I watch how God will do the exceedingly abundant above all we can ask or think.
Wow.
So my motto is walk by faith and not by sight. So I'm going to a church I've never seen, going to a church I don't know anybody, going to a church I don't even know the area. All I know is my brother is 45 minutes away. That's all I know.
That's good.
I've always driven through Virginia Beach, but never stopped. But the important thing is this: just trust the Lord. Trust God. Just trust God. And you'll see how God just opened doors that you don't even see. And I'm telling you, you'll watch the manifestation of God's work happen through your own life. So I will be with you again next Tuesday from Pennsylvania. I'm going to New York. Going to Pennsylvania today, leaving on Friday morning for Virginia. I'll come right back on Sunday night because I have to be back in New York on Wednesday for a meeting.
So listen, Pastor, give us 30 seconds to a minute. I know that the members of the panel want to wish you well and bid you Godspeed. I'm not going to call on anyone in particular. Just jump in whatever order you'd like. I know that Pastor certainly would like to hear from you before he leaves today.
Well,
Amen. So the women always jump in first. I love you, Pastor Hayward. I wish you the best. Virginia Beach is absolutely gorgeous, and you are going to enjoy it. It's going to be great for you, and it's not far from us, so I expect to pop in at one time or another.
Come on down.
Amen. God bless you and your wife.
It's been a pleasure, Reverend Haywood, to work with you on this platform. I know that God is going to do exceeding and abundantly.
Amen.
And you have our prayers.
I appreciate you, Doctor. I really do. And I thank God for your wisdom. I thank God for just who you are, so transparent, and clinical at the same time. I love that.
Thank you.
Pastor Haywood, I want to thank you for your inspiration, your impartation, and your revelation. You have been such a blessing to us all, and I'm sure the Lord will yet be with you in your journey. And I know it's going to cause you to be inspired and encouraged even furthermore as you go and build that new church.
Amen. Thank you, my brother, and keep on teaching Bible study. I'll be on.
Okay. Okay.
Pastor Hayward, thank you so much just for who you are. You're candid, and most importantly, you don't hold your tongue. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Continue being who you are, and abundant blessings to you as you move ahead to continue to do what God has called you to do for this time and this season.
My brother, can I tell you something, man?
I'm listening to you.
I thought about your move to Tarrytown.
Yeah.
I said, if Dr. Scott can lead that church,
Yeah.
Terrytown, yeah. The other thing that helped me make up my mind was the snow. I was told already, sell your snowblower, you don't need it. It snows, get your broom out. I'm looking forward to that.
Blessings, man.
My brother, we're going to miss you here. I'm quite sure Steve, Rich Schaefer, all are going to miss you. But guess what? As you said, God opened up doors for a new season. Enjoy the new season. Enjoy what God has for you and your family.
Thank you so much, Bishop. I'm sure how God opens doors. There's avenue right now for me to connect with the state police in Virginia to do chaplaincy work. Mm-hmm. Look at God. So I'm
Bishop,
From one
Bishop, I'm
chapter
the new
to
kid of the
another.
block here, but I certainly appreciate it and appreciate your wisdom, your seasoned knowledge, and also have you shared throughout this panel. And on a selfish note, you are moving about an hour and 45 minutes from where I am. So I certainly at some point will go out to your beach and look for fellowship. Bless you, sir.
Dr. Grant, thank you, God. Thank you so much for how I've watched your elevation. As a matter of fact, I heard about you before I met you. Thank God for that. And I have a niece that lives about a half hour from you in Wilson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I appreciate all of you, what you've done, how you've put into my life. The last thing is I don't hold my tongue because when you bite your tongue, it hurts. But I don't do it. So I had to share some things with this church here on Sunday. And some folks didn't like what I said, but I told the truth. The truth is, the new guy's coming. He's the pastor. None of you. He's the pastor. Don't try to bully this guy. Don't try to take over this church. Because I will give him names to look out for. Leave some instructions for him. The house of God must go forward. So thank you so much. I got to run, and I'll be back on next Tuesday.
Pastor, we know that you have to run. Do well, be well, and certainly you know that you remain in our prayers.
Yes, Donald Trump won last night.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
He jinxed the garden last night.
Yes, he did.
Well, listen, beloved, we have perhaps 20, 25 minutes that remain. And of course, this first half an hour has been a rich, rewarding fellowship and experience as we have listened to our brother come into perhaps a more accurate and healthy understanding of the Methodist method. And you know, there are pros and cons on both sides of the equation. You know, we with our Baptist bias talk about not wanting to yield to a person that can move us from place to place. But then, as he so aptly demonstrated, the counter to that is while we don't want to deal with a person who can give us challenges, we submit to a board. that can be far more problematic. It might be easier to deal with a single person than it is with a panel of personalities called the diaconate. I thought that was a brilliant insight today a perfect way for us to open up the remainder of this conversation about late life career moves. Who would like to tackle this topic?
So, since I'm the oldest, let me just help
and with the greatest bias, okay?
in some things, and I earned that, Bishop. It comes by telling the truth and understanding a lie. But anyway, what I do understand more aptly now, but it's taken years of growth. I've been Methodist. I have been Pentecostal. I grew up Pentecostal. I've done it. When I got to the Baptist church where I was for 33 years, one of the reasons after I came out of it that I understood is because the diaconate is not, they do think they do run the church. They want to run the church. What is the pastor for? So I couldn't deal with all of that because when we get to heaven, there's not going to be a diaconate corner or a pastor's corner. God is large and in charge. And I think it's a community. I shouldn't say community, but it's a church. It's a person by person. It's leading people to Christ, teaching them to Christ. I understand we need to have some governmental format, but some things are just too much and enough is enough. So therefore, I became non-denominational after 33 years of Baptist-Costalism. So all people need to do or learn to do, if they would learn to do that, is to have faith, to do God. I understand what Pastor Hayward says. I cannot even begin to open up and understand and repeat everything that God has done in moving me in my life to the point that I am. But it's been a tremendous journey, and it is trust in God. And when you do that, the diaconate can drop you, can back you up right after the good armor bearer, but they cannot run what God has given you to run to do. So I don't know where anybody falls in that. Everybody is what they are and functions as they function. But I am a happy camper out there doing partnerships in ministry. I believe in partnership, as I had said before. If we partner and pull together as a body of Christ, which I pray that will happen one day wholeheartedly, not just in individual places and churches, but wholeheartedly, and for a purpose that is all God, not just building buildings and money and whatever, we'll be good. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm spend my last days trying to make it happen in my life.
I enjoy change. I enjoy it. And at this phase of my life, on a personal note, there's a shifting that's going on where I'm not dealing with well, I still have my congregation, but doors are opening and now pastors are coming with their congregations and forming a network of churches, which for me is very exciting because I see change as being useful.
Mhm.
I honestly believe that if you cannot do what you have been doing, do it differently. So what I enjoy about church leadership is expanding and moving me above some of that mundane and mediocre, conflictual, if that's a word,
It is.
type of
It is.
behaviors that we run into with leading exclusively a local assembly. But now I have access to doing the same things in terms of developing leaders, but not having to deal with the people dealing with the leaders. So that changed for me at this stage of my life after 45 years of ministry leadership has just refreshed me, renewed me, and my heart is so full of joy. I don't intend to ever stop doing ministry, but doing it in different ways.
Different ways. That's right.
I think that, thank you, Dr. Stratford, for that, because I was thinking along the same lines. I think that we often need some type of either elevation, emotion, change, some kind of transformation so we won't become complacent. It, change has a tendency to bring a new inspiration, a new revitalization, a new encouragement. In 2015, I merged with another church that was traditionally Baptist, and I brought my congregation, which was full gospel Baptist, and we merged together. And the inspiration that took place with these two churches coming together left such a encouragement in my spirit, and it made me want to be more effective, more efficient, and more excellent in ministry. So change and these type of things that occurred with Pastor Hayward, it also livens us and gives us a new sense of ministry and blessings.
That's rich. That's rich. Good. Good.
We are leaders. If God called us, sometimes God will redirect us into changes situations. Never say what you
Oh,
won't.
yeah.
Never say what you won't do in this life. So
Amen.
sometimes people change for health reasons, health conditions,
Mhm.
financial status, you know, different things. And you got to know who you are, how to adapt to different situations. Some people love the city life, some love the suburban, some love the country life. And based on who you are, to adapt to those areas, right? City life is rough, it's fast moving. You can't function in that, go to a slower pace in a country where it's more relaxing, more peaceful. So at the end of the day, what is best for the individual and their family?
That's good. That's good.
Well, speaking as one who has actually experienced, who I mean, I was actually when I made this change 3 years ago to leave Queens to come to Westchester, or come for that matter to come back to the place where I was serving in ministry under the pastor, and to come back and to uh, be his successor at the age that I'm at. I was 62 when I was when I went back to New Hope. Um, 62 is the retirement age in some cases. And my question to God was, why am I even going through this process? And just as we've heard today, I experienced those same things. Uh, it was God said, I have a new season for you. I'm not finished with you yet. There's a lot more in you. And the thing is, I was still trying to understand all of that while having the diagnosis of prostate cancer.
Mm.
And and the thing is, the first Sunday that I started at the new church, that same week, I started treatment
Wow.
for the cancer. I did what is called the cyberknife treatment, where you go for five treatments. I started those first 5 treatments. That Sunday, after that Sunday I preached, I started treatment that Monday,
Mm.
and it was just it just amazed me that um that I went through all of that and I had to deal with that, and uh and here God was getting me ready for a brand new season that I didn't foresee. I didn't see it. Um, I just went through the process. I just went through the process, and that's all I was doing, was going through the process. I was not trying to leave from the Rising Star Church, which had been very good to me, and I was blessed there. Um, Matter of fact, both Bishop Luda and Pastor Grant was at my installation at Rising Star. I don't know if they remember that or not.
Yeah, sure. I
Okay.
remember bringing the church.
Okay. All right. Pastor Grant was there, and Pastor Gilmore installed me there. Um, but all in all, uh, we do transition in the latter parts of our ministry. Not so much. I guess not so much to do something new, but maybe to just reinforce things that people have been taught, and sometimes that needs to be reinforced, and because that's what it looks like I'm doing at this point. I'm going over stuff that I know people know, that I saw Pastor Gilmore teach. I'm just reinforcing some of that stuff and
Great.
going over it, and that's basically where I'm at.
In the absence of Bishop Singster, we're going to give President Grant the last word on this topic today, and then we're going to let you go just a minute or two early. We had such a full experience today with Pastor Hayward until literally our plate is full. Brother
Yes.
President?
Yes, thank you, Bishop. As I was listening, my mind went back in terms of shifting career paths. I've had, I guess, several shifts throughout the years.
Me too.
Before I became a preacher fighting the calling, I was a correction officer. And I recall distinctly the day that I was coming home, the lane was closing in, a double lane was closing in to one, and the opposite side was then opening up to two. And I said, Lord, this thing is not going to be for me. Around the time I said that, a car came over to my side.
Mm.
And I never forget that. I swerved over to avoid a head-on. I said, tell me what you want me to do, Lord. And that was my wake up. And then, of course, going into the ministry under Bishop Luder and at Star. When he moved, I was somewhat of a rise in mid management and correction, and I actually stepped down from that to go with Bishop. Uh, thinking never to come back to New York again. I worked with him early in this building of the new ministry there as an executive minister and director of music, only for another year, 14 months to be called back.
Yeah.
15 minutes from where I left to Tarrytown for my first pastorate. And I went back into corrections service, again, management, but I had to work where there was an opening, so it was 81 miles away each way. I did
I
that for a
understand.
year. I
I
did it for a year.
understand.
And finally, Lord, I said, if this is what you want me to do, I need some direction. It was wearing me out. I couldn't build my ministry. I couldn't do anything in the community. So I actually stepped down on prayer. And to show you how God works, I stopped working, came back to a church that was paying me $350 a week at the time. I forgot what I was making in correction, but I was like close to 50. Um, and I ended up, my wife and I, educating 3 boys all through college. And it wasn't just overflow. We would take this like anniversaries, Christmas gifts to pay the tuition. And then when I was moderator, I helped the church up in Hudson, and they said, "Well, what about you?" I said, "No, I'm not applying, but thank you. This is how you do it." It got to the point where they kept asking when they had the meeting. Some of y'all know Jesse Boyd Bottoms. He was my vice moderator. I said, "Jesse, I need you to take that meeting." He said, "Well, why?" I said, "Because they keep throwing my name out, and I didn't apply." He said, "Well, then I know, but I think maybe God might be talking. I don't know. You take the meeting and keep things right." He said, okay. So coming back, I called him. I said, well, you have got back. We had a meeting today. He said, man, I'm on my way home. He said, the meeting went real well. I left the folks shouting. I said, well, that's good. I said, well, who did they pick? He said, they said, you. I said, Jesse, how did you let that happen? He said, Ron, he said, somebody asked, can we bring a name from the floor? And I said, well, yes. And they brought your name from the floor, and you had
Wow.
every vote except one. Well, actually, I had every vote, but the one vote they had to void because she wasn't a member of the church. So my next 23 years was there. And throughout my ministry, I was still in correction. I wasn't in correction, actually. But I got involved in law enforcement. I became the chaplain of New York State Police, which was about 23 years. And that position was created because of my involvement. I would speak at every graduation, and of course, what did it with few deaths I would attend. That was something they weren't used to, So it worked out very well. Uh, Chaplain of the Columbia Department, the Sheriff's Department. My point is, I did all these things because of the moves. So when it was time for me to step down, and this was after my wife transitioned, I was president of the state convention at that time. It dawned on me. I said, I'm tired. But the only way I can step down would be to move out. Sometimes it's difficult to move over and remain because of your involvements.
Right.
So that's why I moved out and just walked away from everything at the right time. I came here, didn't tell nobody nothing, just came incognito. I got a lawnmower and I started riding it. As it turned out, and I'll fast forward to right now and I'll let you go. There's a church, well, the word got out as it turned out that I was here. And there was a church, Ebenezer. Pastor Walker was there for 54 years before he transitioned. His son ended up succeeding him, but it was a big mess because he had remarried, as it turned out, for the last 3 years, and things didn't go quite well. The new wife didn't allow the church to get involved, nor the family in the homegoing, that type of thing. So the day after, he called me. He said, listen, we're burying my father tomorrow. He said, I need you to preach for me Sunday. I said, Doc, you sure? I said, don't you? No, too much going on. I need somebody I know can go there and just do the right thing. I said, well, bless you, I did. So I started preaching. My point is, the Lord will make room for your gifts. That's not a secret. All right. And I'm enjoying, but one has to know sometimes when it's time to move and when your season changes, and to even prepare or help somebody prepare
Yes.
themselves for the succession. The way we call pastors right now, you mentioned deacons and everything else. The way Baptist Church call pastors is very Baptistic, but it's not biblical.
That's
That's
right.
Nowhere will you see in the
That's right.
Bible where a bunch of sheep get together, call a meeting, so us got to go find ourselves a shepherd.
That's right.
I'll leave it alone. God bless y'all.
Well, listen, beloved, for the last almost hour, you have been listening to the weekly Clergy Roundtable. I do believe that perhaps Bishop Singster has rejoined us. Let me check and see. I believe. Uh, Bishop, did you want to give us a closing word? We've just about exhausted the topic that we've had today in response to the presentation given to us by Pastor Hayward, but I didn't want to close without having you weigh in on the topic that we have discussed. You're still on mute if you want to say anything.
I didn't hear anything. My screen went out black.
Okay. Okay.
So I won't add to it.
All righty. Well, listen, beloved, until next time, tell a neighbor, tell a friend that at the 9 o'clock hour on Tuesdays, we are right here. Until next time, indeed, go in peace, go in joy, go in love, and go in happiness. For the author of Peace, Love, Joy, and Happiness most certainly goes with you. God bless.